Well, good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Morning Kick. Now, over the time that this whole coronavirus thing has been kicking into gear, a lot of us have had to adapt. We've been looking at our business, we've been looking at what our customers are doing, reassessing our marketing. But one of the biggest things that businesses had to look at the moment is remote workers, with the advice that we should stay at home, wash our hands, and keep those 1.5 meters apart. Remote working has gone up exponentially. And we're really pleased this morning that we've invited onto the show Troy Adams. And Troy is from Techpath, an IT firm with managed services and teams that support businesses right across Queensland and probably further afield, Troy. We'll get a bit of background on that, but welcome to the Morning Kick.
Morning, Andrew. Thanks for inviting me.
You guys must be run off your feet at the moment. I can imagine even dealing with your own client base, there'd be a lot of adaptation and change that's happening right here and now.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that we are busy, and we've been helping a lot of our clients set up work from home and in a secure manner.
So tell us about the Techpath story. You guys have grown quite significantly in the time that I've got to know you. What is the history of Techpath?
Yeah, certainly. Makes me feel old. I've been doing this for 24 years. I started the business when I was in year 12 at high school, and we've grown to 50 staff, all based in Brisbane. And we've got a strong focus around Microsoft Cloud and security.
And so what kind of clients do you service, and how many staff and teams do you have available to service the needs of clients?
Yeah, certainly. So we focus on businesses that got somewhere between 20 and 200 computers. We certainly have clients that are at either side of that scale as well. We support most industries, do a lot in professional services, manufacturing, distribution, to name a few. We've got 50 staff in total. Most of those are client-facing for support.
That's really good. Fantastic. That Techpath, if you're interested in getting some IT security, and Troy, you've got an offer for a consultation that we'll cover at the end of the Morning Kick this morning. But what have been your concerns on behalf of clients with this whole remote working? We saw that Zoom has become the conferencing tool of choice for a lot of people, but they've had to adapt and really hammer up their security. I understand over the weekend they made it a default that you actually had to log in with a password now. What other things should we be wary of when we have workers working from home?
I think there's a massive rush to get businesses to work from home, and they weren't necessarily all prepped, ready to go. So I think people just focused on, let's get that happening ASAP. But then they're now looking back and go, well, we did that, but maybe it wasn't as secure as it was when we were back in the office. So people are revisiting their IT security right now. Probably some of the bigger concerns are around, weakening of firewalls or weakening of security around data, because we've given remote access. But what does that mean from a security perspective?
A lot of businesses in the last 5 years would have migrated to a G Suite or Office 365 scenario,
Yeah.
but we're talking about where workers are connecting into applications and that within the office or their virtual server room. What kind of solutions are people needing to be wary of? What should they be conscious of that they haven't thought of before?
Yeah, certainly. So people that are using cloud services like Google and Microsoft are probably in a better position. But even then, by default, those online tools aren't necessarily fully secure. You need to go in and configure additional security settings, or even purchase different plans. So some people have maybe chosen the wrong plan to be as secure as that particular business needs. On the other side, if it's a business that's got a server still, they may have opened up some ports in the firewall, but that now enables hackers to have a go at trying to hack into the network.
We work obviously with a lot of website situations with our clients, and even in the last couple of days, I saw one of our clients have their website hacked that they'd taken off a support plan. So it just shows you need to ensure that you're working with somebody that's going to have your backups, making sure everything is locked down. A lot of workers would have ended up using their own computers at home versus using the traditional desktop that's at their desk in the office. Are there any things that we should be looking at in that situation, either the business owner or even the worker at home using their own laptop or family desktop?
Yes, certainly. So where possible, we've given advice when people are in a hurry to get the work from home setups happening to use their business desktop or business device. That way, the security should already be in place on that device. So that's the first option. If that's not possible, you certainly got to do the basics. Like you need to have an operating system that's up to date. So if people are running older operating systems like Windows 7 that are no longer getting security updates from the vendor, then that's a risk. Antivirus seems obvious, but a lot of people just have the built-in Windows or lack or no antivirus at all. So there's a concern there. And then just things like passwords, like a lot of home computers don't even have a password or they don't have a screensaver protection. So there's the little basic things that are not in place typically in a home environment.
I'm going to touch on a little bit of a hot spot here, but for the Mac users who believe that their computers are impenetrable, is there a concern there that they should equally have some things in place, do the basics well?
Yeah. There is a lot less viruses that are focused on that platform, so they are typically safer in that scenario, but it's not foolproof. So it's really important that people still take care of when they're using those type of Macs and other platforms, and still consider security protection like antivirus.
One of the jokes that's been going around since this whole COVID-19 started was Hamish Blake dropping into Zoom conferences. Is there Zoom for one more? Now, is there anything that we should be wary of when we're looking at conferencing solutions?
Yeah, so there's a lot of options on the market, and I think they're all great. Each one has its pros and cons. Zoom made it easy to get into a meeting by having no passwords, but like anything, you make it easy, there's a risk. So obviously having some sort of gated access to anything, whether it be a video conference or some of your data, you've got to have passwords, unfortunately.
So keeping your software up to date, specifically making sure that your OS platform is right up to date. Firewalls, you've sometimes got to leave that one in the hands of the professionals, don't you? Do I need to do anything with my home router, or is it more an issue for the business?
Yeah, so it's a hard one these days because data's not necessarily just in one spot anymore for a business. People have a lot of cloud services, so data is actually usually all over the world. Some might be on premise on the server. Emails might be in some sort of cloud service. CRMs in another cloud service. So it is hard to protect the data. So what you're really looking at is each individual service that's in use. You've got to make sure that they're configured correctly, the right measures are used, and the perimeter is protected. So things like antivirus, Windows updates that we've already spoken about. But I do want to segue into the most important part of security, and that's two-factor authentication.
Yeah, it's interesting you raised that. The two-factor authentication just gives us that extra layer on passwords. So we're so used to trying to remember 101 passwords, so we don't. We make the mistake of using the same password everywhere. Can you just lead us through some best practice as to how we deal with passwords and two-factor authentication? How do I set it up? What is it?
Yeah, great questions. So two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication is a secondary verification. So you've got to know your username, you've got to know your password, and they're the things that hackers can get hands on. But it's very hard for them to get their hands on is your second verification method, and that's usually your mobile phone. It could be an SMS, or it could be an application installed on your phone. It could be even a bank, like a token like the banks. If you've got two-factor in place, it is nearly, I won't say it's impossible, but it's nearly impossible to get hacked these days. And the great thing is it's usually a free feature on most cloud systems, and it's just a matter of ticking a box usually, following a few basic prompts, and two-factor can be enabled on all your online services.
I had a security friend that used to advise, he said, for good security, there has to be something you know, which might be your password, and something you have, which these days can be two-factor on your phone, which is fantastic.
Yep.
Troy, it's been great to have you on the show this morning. You mentioned that if people want to get in touch with Techpath, that you may have an offer that they can take advantage of through the Morning Kick. They can get hold of you through the website, and we'll just quickly bring that up again. But would you like to just walk through for us what the offer is for Techpath for somebody that would like to find out about your IT services?
Yeah, definitely. We'd be happy to offer 1 hour free consultancy for anyone that would like to give me a call and talk about security or set up to work from home so that you ensure your business is as efficient as possible, but also secure at the same time.
All right, make sure you visit techpath.com.au, touch base with Troy. You've got the 1300 number there, and you'll be able to find more about their services. Thanks very much for your time, Troy.
Thank you, Andrew.
Well, it's been great to have some expertise on the morning kick, because security is an issue that we need to tighten up on. Maybe you've just started working from home. It still doesn't mean that you can't get yourself organized and talk to the experts where you need to. That two-factor authentication is actually surprisingly easy to set up once you've got a bit of guidance on it. Well, one of the things we want to continue to remind you about is the Thrival plan, and it's had some improvements in the last couple of days. So if you'd like to get your Thrival plan, a free Google Doc, you simply go to excitemedia.com.au/thrive, and I'll just very quickly bring you over here, and there you go. If you go to that address, we've now got 6 essential checklists for your business. We've also got 15 tools and resources that you can use as you do an assessment on where things are at within your business, and an easy action plan template using the ICE method if you'd like to check out. Also a bonus invitation to join us in our Facebook group. Thanks very much for spending some time with us on the Morning Kick. We're going to be back tomorrow, and we've got some really great guests lined up over the next little while, including having a talk to somebody about EOS Traction. That's an entrepreneurial operating system, a great way to run your business. And also we've got an expert on social media coming in later in the week as well.